2020 has been a unique year full of disasters and heartache, but a lot of new all-time highs. But we here at Market Trends have tried to make this a profitable year for our viewers. We've covered a lot of exciting industries like 5G, cryptocurrencies, cannabis, space investing, EVs, gold. We've talked about position sizing and trailing stops, and we've covered a lot of really exciting opportunities and topics. And through many of these videos, I shared companies that I felt investors should own, as well as those I felt investors should avoid. So to close out this one-of-a-kind year, we're going to do some radical honesty and be transparent with how these investing ideas perform. Hi, I'm Matthew Carr, Chief Trend Strategist for the Oxford Club, and thank you for watching this episode of Market Trends. On this channel in 2020, I highlighted 40 opportunities. 35 of those were bullish calls, meaning I thought shares were going to go up, and 5 were bearish calls, meaning I thought shares were going to tank. Now, I'm not going to cover every one of those because it would just be too exhaustive of a video, and it's the holiday season. This should be time that you should be spending with your family or your pets. But what I will do is I'll put a screenshot of the track record so you can pause it and take a look for yourself, review all the different positions. But what I will do today is go through some of my best and worst calls of the year. Now, I'm a bad news first kind of guy, so let's go ahead and start there. Some people in the investing and financial publishing world, we often refer to as Perma Bears. That means no matter what, they think the market is going to crash, and they just repeat that thesis nonstop. Of course, every few years when the market implodes, they claim victory. They're like, see, I told you. Now, I refer to myself as a perma bull. Not because I'm naive, it's just that I was trained that even though that there will be down days, down weeks, down months, and even down years in the market, it ultimately heads in only one direction, and that's up. Now, if we pull up an historic chart of the S&P 500, which is one of the simplest ways I was shown, we see this theory in reality. So with that in mind, my calls on companies to avoid this year did not pan out very well. Of the 5 bearish calls I made, only 1 came true. Of these, the worst was Party City. On October 23rd, right before Halloween, I made my most extensive video, but got hair in my mouth. Sorry. And I said we historically see shares of Party City crumble in November. With that trend in place and a notorious year like 2020, I warned I would tread carefully with shares at that moment. Since then, shares have jumped 168%. Undoubtedly, that was my worst call of the year. Now, my second worst call is all the way back from May 1st. I said you couldn't pay me to own shares of GameStop, that COVID-19 would be the final nail in the coffin of this retailer, which I just don't like. And after trailing lower following that video, unfortunately, GameStop shares have rocketed higher. And as of the close on December 15th, are 128% above where I said not to buy them. Now I really think they're super overvalued. My third worst call comes from the week before that, on April 24th. I mentioned 3 energy companies that I didn't like and thought that they would really struggle this year: Laredo Petroleum, New Star Energy, and Seadrill. Laredo and New Star have since jumped. Seadrill has tanked. So my top 3 worst calls of the year were all bearish. And as I said, I was 1 for 5 in those this year. Not my best performance by any stretch of the imagination. Now, let's turn our attention to the good news, to my best of 2020. Because here, there is a lot to be excited about and to be thankful for as we head into this final stretch of the year. Coming in at number 3 is the American Multi-State Operator, or MSO, Trulief. Back on April 17th, just in time for 420, I listed my 3 pot stocks investors should consider. Number 1 was Cannabis Growth, number 2 was Trulief, and number 3 was Innovative Industrial Properties. All 3 have done exceptionally well, but shares of the Florida-focused Trulief are up 236.6% since then. So that is a very exciting run for a company that I really just love and think is a fantastic MSO. Now, my second best performer also comes from the cannabis space, the hydroponics retailer GrowGeneration. GrowGeneration was named my #1 small cap for 2020. And on August 7th, I told investors buy these shares before August 13th. That was when the company was going to release its second quarter results. Shares have since rocketed 284% since then, not to mention that massive one-day rally of more than 40% on those second quarter results. So I received emails about that pick as well as the next one for how well they both performed. So cannabis is one of my areas of specialties. So I was really glad to see that rebound this year. But my biggest winner didn't come from cannabis. Drum roll, please. My #1 investment opportunity covered here in Market Trends this year was Blink charging. Back on August 21st, I said, do not sleep on this opportunity because there's a lot of electrifying upside here, no matter what any of the short sellers were saying. And shares are now currently up more than 315% since then. The EV boom is likely here to stay, especially as we have a new administration coming in, as well as for cannabis. But I do want to highlight those weren't our only winners here at Market Trends this year. They were just the 3 biggest. Of the 40 opportunities I highlighted investors should either consider or avoid, I was right on 31 of those instances. Inviva, our most recent opportunity, is kind of flat from our entry, right? But all in all, that's a 77.5% success rate. But that's really brought down by all my whiffs on the companies to avoid, that 1 for 5 that I went there. But on the bullish calls, the success rate was exceptional, 85.71%. Plus, that's including Inviva as a loss, which is basically flat. I wouldn't consider it that way. The average gain on these bullish calls was 62.91%, which is pretty awesome. And we've delivered 9 triple-digit gain opportunities, including Bitcoin all the way back on May 8th, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, Chewy, and Magnite, plus a bunch of others. Plus, only 2 of those bullish calls were real stinkers. Modis Medical and Akerna. Modis is down 22.8%. Akerna is down 51.3%. Our other losers, Best Buy and Zynga, are down around 2%, and Inviva, as of this recording, is down 0.4%. So here's the deal. In investing, you're never going to be right 100% of the time. If you are, that's probably doing something suspect. You just want to make sure you're right more often than you're wrong, and that your winners are always going to outpace your losers. We highlighted some exceptional opportunities this year, and we'll be back to do more of the same in 2021. So be sure to subscribe and tune in every Friday afternoon. I'm Matthew Carr, Chief Trend Strategist for the Oxford Club. Thank you for watching this episode of Market Trends. And as always, for more information like this, be sure to go down to the description and sign up for my free e-letter. Until next time, here's to high returns and a happy new year.